The following program has been rated PG-13.
What's up, family? Welcome to another episode of the Israel Wake Up Call. I'm your brother, Mike Malice. And family, I want to jump right into this episode because we are going to be talking about the Equality Act. Now, so many of you have reached out to me on Instagram, email, in regards to this Equality Act. Now, quite frankly, I don't think anybody in this royal family should be surprised by this being passed. But the one thing that we have to do is completely make sure that all of our people are 100% educated about what's going on. Not just what you see on television. No. Of course, we can't do that because we're being fed on television. We actually have to get down beneath the surface and get to the roots to see what this Equality Act is all about. Now, I'm letting you know right now, we have to think smarter than a fifth grader. Because as you know, when it comes to YouTube and all of these social media platforms, they are very, what's the word I'm using here? You know, they're very protective when it comes to that particular subject, okay? So I gotta be smart. So we're not even going to mention their particular name. We're not gonna mention anything about it. We know what the Equality Act is all about, and if you don't know, then you're going to learn what is about here tonight. But there is something that is underlying with that Equality Act. Something, quite frankly, I really don't appreciate. So we're going to talk about it here tonight. I'm going to bring it forth to you, which I am well within my right to do. Now, some of you may be thinking, okay, well, why won't he mention it or whatever? You know, why won't he say the name? Why? Because the Most High says use wisdom. We have to use wisdom with certain things. And this is information that needs to get out to our people. And I have to make sure that I am well within my protected rights to bring forth information without me being discriminated against because I want to talk about a particular subject. All right. And this just lets you know that the freedom of speech is not real. All right. So the first thing I want you to do, please, family, I want you to open your Bibles to the 1611 King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. And like I said, I'm diving right into this one here tonight. I'm diving right in because we got some things that we have to cover. And please, family, I would like for you to go to Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 13. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13. I'm going to read something here to you in regards to wisdom. Okay? Proverbs chapter 3, verse 13. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. So it's saying that wisdom is greater and is worth more than silver and gold. Verse 15. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Nothing compares to wisdom. Nothing compares to wisdom. And especially when you use it. Verse 16, length of days is in her right hand. Length of days, meaning longevity in your life. And in her left hand, riches and honor. Verse 17, her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. That's why I'm choosing to do what I'm doing here today. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is everyone that retaineth her. Happy is everyone that retaineth her. To use wisdom means to be intelligent, be smart. And that is what we have to do. So now, that was Old Testament. Now I want to bring something out in the New Testament here in regards to wisdom. I want you to please go to Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5. Let's go down to verse 15, please. All right. Watch this. See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. Did you hear what that said, family? The days are evil. Royal family, did you hear what I said? the days are evil, according to these scriptures. Wherefore, be ye not unwise. Don't be unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Understanding, wise, using wisdom is the will of the Most High. Okay? You see that, right? So now you see why I'm going the way that I'm going with this here. And we're not even going to mention their name. We know what the Equality Act is all about. And as a matter of fact, we are going to be reading the Equality Act here tonight. Not all of it, but some of it. Now, I want you to do me a favor. I really want you to open your ears right now, because I am going to read an article that's coming directly from ABC News, which is a so-called reputable source. I'm going to read something here to you. As I read this, there's going to be something that should click when I read it. Many of you that, I hate to use the word follow me, because you're not really following me, we're following the Most High. But many of you that have been participants in the lessons that I bring out. There was one that we did on the lesson of abortion. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, but when you hear it, you'll know exactly what it is, okay? And for those of you that have not watched it, you need to go back and watch it. All right. So this is coming directly from ABC News, and I'll put the link in the description so you can go back and read it for yourself. ABC News. House passes bill that would prohibit discrimination against LGBTQ Americans after days of heated debate. Now, I can say that right there. I'm reading an article. I'm reading a public article from ABC News, and I'm well within my rights to do that. All right? Opponents said it would infringe on religious beliefs, impact women's sports. Now, infringe is not an everyday term. So, of course, you know me, the king of definitions. I want to go ahead and get the definition of infringe. You got to bring these things out, and especially if we're trying to get the proper understanding of what things are. The definition of infringe: actively break the terms of a law, agreement, etc. The next one: act so as to limit or undermine something, encroach on. So to undermine the law? What laws? Family, what laws are we talking about? The laws of the Most High. So now that you know what infringe is, let's go back to the article here on ABC News so that we can get the proper understanding. Opponents, which means those that went against this particular bill, said it would infringe on religious beliefs, impact women's sports. All right. I'm going to read the article now. Watch this. The House on Thursday passed the Equality Act, a top agenda item. Agenda, that name or that word is going to be used here a lot. A top agenda item for President Joe Biden that would prohibit discrimination against LGBTQ Americans in a 224-206 vote. 3 Republicans voted with all Democrats on the measure, which the House also passed 2 years ago, but languished in the then GOP-controlled Senate. In 2019, 8 House Republicans supported the bill. The measure would extend the protections of the Civil Rights Act to LGBTQ Americans to block discrimination based on gender, identity, and sexual orientation. And as you know, we are going to come back to that. Representative Brian Fitzpatrick, Republican of Pennsylvania, Tom Reed, Republican New York, and John Katko, Republican New York, voted with Democrats in support of the proposal on Thursday. The vote followed 2 days of emotional and, at times, personal debate in the House between Democrats and Republicans, with some lawmakers speaking from their own life experiences on the floor. Quote, "None of us should be evicted, fired, or denied accommodations and services simply because of who we are and whom we love," said Representative Richie Torres, Democrat, New York, who is one of the first openly gay black men to serve in Congress. All right? That's where I want to stop it at, right there. So, I'm not saying anything discriminating at all. I'm reading an article. I want to go back to this article. And I want to tell you the problem that I see. It's not really a major problem for us because we already talked about this here, but let's get this again. The measures would extend the protections of the Civil Rights Act to LGBTQ Americans to block discrimination based on gender identity and sexual orientation. That's where I have to stop right there. So wait a second. That particular lifestyle is a choice in the matter. It's a choice. I had absolutely no choice in the way that I was born. Thank God Almighty for me being born an Israelite, but I didn't have a choice in that matter. I did not have a choice. So how do you take something? How do you take the savagery, the butchery that was put on our people and extend it to something that is an open choice? I have an issue with that. But of course, guess what? I shouldn't. And do you know why? Because as we talked about in the lesson on abortion, that Civil Rights Act is all BS. How do we know? Because remember, in that particular lesson, we went over all of the civil rights activists that was pro-abortion, even though the scriptures say we can't kill. Here's that agenda. Just like we went over in the Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Don't Matter lesson, remember that? There was an agenda there too. Because remember, when we went over that lesson, we found out the three founders of the BLM movement were indeed a part of the LGBTQ community. It's on their very own mission statement. I'm not saying anything discriminating. I'm just speaking facts. So you mean to tell me that everything that we went through in slavery, the discrimination, everything, all the things, the murder, the things that we still face today, that is an extension to this? No. I'm sorry. I got a problem with that. This goes far beyond the Civil Rights Act. This has to do with our so-called humanity, as the world chooses to say. You can't compare the two at all. There's no way in the world you can compare the two. But guess what? They did. They did. And they made this very, very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Which is why, family, I brought out those scriptures in regards to wisdom. Because right now, what we're going to do, I'm going to read some of the Equality Act. And I'm telling you right now, family, we got to be so careful in what we do and what we say. And I'm going to show you why per scripture. Now, this is coming from congress.gov. H.R. 5 Equality Act, 116th Congress, 2019 through 2020. And I'm going to leave the link in the description so you can go and read this here for yourself. H.R. 5 in the Senate of the United States, May 20th, 2019, received, read twice, and referred to the Committee on the Judiciary and Act. Listen to this, an act to prohibit discrimination on the basis of sex, gender, identity, and sexual orientation, and for other purposes. Let me not do it yet. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, Section 1, short title, this act may be cited as the Equality Act. Section 2, findings and purpose. Findings. Congress finds the following. Number 1, Discrimination can occur on the basis of the sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, or pregnancy, childbirth, or a related medical condition of an individual, as well as because of sex-based stereotypes. Each of these factors alone can serve as the basis for discrimination, and each is a form of sex discrimination. How vague is that? How vague is that? Number 2, a single instance of discrimination may have more than one basis. For example, discrimination against a married same-sex couple could be based on the sex stereotype that marriage should only be between heterosexual couples, the sexual orientation of the two individuals in the couple, or both. Discrimination against a pregnant lesbian could be based on her sex, her sexual orientation, her pregnancy, or on the basis of multiple factors. Number 3, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, referred to as LGBTQ people, commonly experience discrimination in securing access to public accommodations, including restaurants, senior centers, stores, places of or establishments that provide entertainment, health care facilities, shelters, government offices, youth services providers, including adoption and foster care providers, and transportation. Forms of discrimination include the exclusion and denial of entry, unequal or unfair treatment, harassment, and violence. This discrimination prevents the full participation of LGBTQ people in society and disrupts the free flow of commerce. I'm going to stop right there with that. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. First of all, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this proud, and I'm going to say this unapologetically. They have not experienced what black people experience. I don't give a damn what you say. They were never put into slavery. The women never had the babies cut out their stomachs, okay? The men was not tar and feathered. They had hot tar poured on their bodies. They did not experience what we experienced, what our ancestors experienced. The things that we experience today, they don't experience what we experienced. I'm not trying to hear it. That's nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. Now, I am all for whether you be gay, lesbian, or whatever it is, for everyone to not have violence or discrimination enacted against them, okay? But you cannot compare the two things. What happened to us and what they experienced. I'm sorry, get the hell out of here. They were not taken on ships. They were not stolen from their land, brought to another land, and forced to work for no pay, and to watch their families be murdered and their families ripped apart because they had children, and those children were either fed to alligators or sent to different plantations all over the world to never be seen again. It is not the same. This is why this has absolutely nothing to do with the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act is garbage. It's nonsense. We've already covered that. The two are not the same. So in that particular scenario there, that's where I'm like, wait a second. This is what the Civil Rights Act was supposed to protect us from? All these things. And of course, the damn Civil Rights Act did absolutely nothing for our people, but incited the agendas that Esau has always wanted to project. I know it, and so do you. That's nonsense. Okay? And I'm going to say it one more time. There should be no people, I don't give a damn who it is, that should have any acts of violence committed against them. Okay? But in the end, the Most High said these things are going to happen. So prophecy is prophecy. Those things are going to happen. Hands down, bottom line. But that is not to be done by us. That is not to be done by us. The Most High will do his work. And I want to make that very, very clear. The Most High will do his work. Nothing can stop what the Most High said is going to happen. Nothing. Nothing at all. But that right there, no. Sorry. Okay? It's almost like, dude, the nerve. The absolute nerve. But I want you to see how they fashioned this here so that it is so vague. Meaning that anything that is set against them is going to land you in trouble. But yet, you have all these law officers, all of these political figures that have no problem with calling us nigger, porch monkey, and all of these other racial epithets and have absolutely nothing done to them but a slap on the wrist. Do you see how unfair this is? It's absolutely unfair. And I'm telling you right now, let me make this very clear. This is the point that I want to drive home. Israel, leave them alone. Leave them alone with the Equality Act. I'm going to show you why. This is not an argument that you need to have with anyone in regards to the Equality Act and to the Equality Act. Why? Because it is a trap. It is 100% straight up entrapment, and you know it by how vague it is. Now I want to get some scripture. Now, the first things first, who makes the law? Esau makes the laws. Esau is responsible for the laws. So now, family, I want you to go to Joshua chapter 23 and verse 13, please. Joshua chapter 3 and verse 13. I'm going to bring this out to you, showing you the trap. Watch this. Know for a certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your side, and thorns in your eye, until ye perish from off this good land which the Lord your God hath given you. That Equality Act is a trap. It's a trap. It's to get you to argue with them. They can incite discrimination against you. And now, guess what? You have lawsuits and possible jail time for discrimination. It's very vague. So, what's the intelligent thing to do is, where does the wisdom come in? Leave them alone. Leave them alone. Why? Because, family, quite frankly, the laws of the Most High has nothing to do with Esau or the other nations. It has nothing to do with them. So why are you going to have an argument with them in regards to laws that don't apply to them? Wisdom. You have to use your wisdom. All right? Now, I want you to go, please, to Psalms chapter 141 and verse 9. All right? Watch this, family. Keep me from the snares which they have laid for me, and the gins of the workers of iniquity. The workers of iniquity, the wicked. The wicked. We all know who the wicked is. Yes, we do. So now I want you to please go to Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 44. Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 44. I'm bringing all this out. Watch this. Look who the law is for, Israel. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. Who does the law pertain to? The law pertains to Israel. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. Meaning the other nations, Esau, the Ishmaelites, what they do is their business. Let them do what they do. Don't argue with them about this. It's called wisdom. Don't allow yourself to be ensnared in one of their traps. Because at that point, you're the fool. Now, I want you to go, please, to Romans chapter 9 and verse 4. So that was Old Testament. Now we're going to New Testament. Romans chapter 9 and verse 4. Family, watch this. Who are Israelites? To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. The Lord was given to us, family. The Lord was given to us. The Most High gave us laws that we have to follow. We know what those laws are. We know what they are. So when it comes to Esau and the other nations, again, Let them do what they do. Do not argue with these individuals in regards to this Equality Act. You know why? It's none of your business. Let them have their business. Let them do what they do. You focus on our people. You focus on yourself. You focus on your family. I'm telling you right now that the fact that they made that so vague, when I was reading, I'm like, okay, well, time out. How do I know if I'm discriminating against somebody? How do I know that I cannot just have a freaking conversation with somebody where someone said, oh, I'm discriminated against? That's exactly how they designed it to be. Remember what the Most High said, you cannot be unequally yoked. This is why he said this. All right, now I want you to go to Proverbs chapter 3. No, we don't need to do that there. We already did that. I want you to go to Psalms chapter 50. And I'm going to show you something right now. I want you to go to Psalms chapter 50. Go down to verse 14, please. I'm going to read it all the way from there. Psalms chapter 50. I'm going to read verse 14. I'm going to read it down. Watch this, family. Watch this. Offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High. And call upon me in the day of trouble, which we are in now. I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. But unto the wicked, God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partaker with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Verse 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou knowest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. What is the Most High talking about right there? Who's the wicked? Let's get it. Let's get who the wicked is so y'all don't think I'm playing. We'll come back to Psalms. Go to Malachi chapter 1, please. Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. Watch this. I gotta bring it all out. Malachi chapter 1, verse 1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. To Israel. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountain and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. So just to give a little background on this here, this is during the times of what the world will call the Renaissance era and things like that, of that time frame, all right? When we broke the commandments and the Most High allowed Esau to conquer the world. But what did it say here? The promise is that Esau is going to build everything up, but the Most High is going to throw down. That's how you know the Most High is black. Look at the words he used. Say, nigga, I'm going to throw down. And they shall call who? Esau, the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. The Most High said he hates them forever. He hates them forever. He hates them forever. That's what the scriptures say. Not my opinion. I'm reading the Bible. That's what it says. So the border of wickedness is Esau. That's who it's talking about. So let's go back to Psalms. Let's go right back to Psalms. Psalms 50. So that you can put all of this here in its proper perspective. Go down to verse 16. But unto the wicked, God saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? So he said, first of all, why are you reading out my book? Why are you talking about my laws? These laws ain't for you. This covenant, as we read earlier, the promises were given unto Israel. This has nothing to do with you. My laws, my word has nothing to do with you, Esau. That's what it says. So, should you be arguing with them about this Equality Act? No. Leave them niggas alone. Save yourself. Teach your family. Leave them niggas alone with this. It's their business. Let them do what they do. Now, when it comes to our people, when it comes to the Israelites, educate them. Educate our people. But if they don't want to listen, cut them off. That's all you can do. That is all you can do. And that's using wisdom right there. That's using wisdom. There's absolutely no reason for you to be going out there and arguing with the other nations about what they do or about whatever their orientations are. Why? Because the law does not apply to them. The law only applies to Israel, as we just read here today. Leave them alone, family. I'm telling you, use wisdom. Use wisdom. You can't get enough wisdom. You can't. We just had the lesson on fools here a couple of weeks ago. Okay? We can't be playing around with them. But I got a problem with that whole Civil Rights Act extension. I mean, that's a bunch of nonsense. I'm sorry. I don't give a damn what you say. You can get mad at me all you want to. You can get mad all you want. But it just goes to show you the nerve of them, though. It goes to show you how much they disregard us. They don't give a damn about us. They never have and they never will. Never. Never. We still get shot down in the streets. We still get beaten. Just the other day, the video that came out of the brother who was walking and was harassing, I believe he either got shot or beat up by the police. Just the other day I read that. And I'll tell you right now, if I was that community, I'd be like, nah, don't put us on that one. You know, no, don't give us that one. Give us another one. Yo, give us our own. But it just goes to show you that through every decade, all these things that have happened to our people, all of the murder and the violence, always had an agenda behind it that had absolutely nothing to do with us. And it's proven. It's not like I'm making this up. It's proven. But yet, though, you know, if we come out and talk about that, y'all niggas are being racist or whatever. Oh, you're discriminating. I ain't discriminating a damn thing. I brought out nothing but facts. Nothing but facts. And if you go back and watch the lesson of Black Lives Don't Matter, you see exactly what I'm talking about. And also the one on abortion, the very same one. We talked about this stuff. And I told you, every time that we do these lessons, they always build up to something. And it's not me even doing that. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with what the Most High allows me to bring out. So that we all learn something, all at the same time. So again, family, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, leave them alone with the Equality Act. Let them do what they do. Keep yourself protected, okay? Use wisdom. Use your brains, okay? There is no need to speak out on this matter. There's no need to speak out about it. That is their thing. That is their law extension, okay? That's their lifestyle. Let them do what they do. Ain't none of your business. None. We have to worry about us. We got to worry about our people. And as many people that we can get to start keeping the commandments of the Most High God. Why? Because that is our job. That is what we are supposed to do. We have to focus on the things that matter. That Equality Act doesn't matter. So don't be worrying about that. Don't be stressing over that. But I had to bring this out here to show that we have work that we have to do. The real work matters. Okay? Not having a rebuttal for whatever they want to do in their land under their rulership during this time. It has nothing to do with us. Not a damn thing. So again, family, use wisdom in this. Teach our people, love your families, and teach them what the Most High said, what our laws are that were given unto Israel. All right. So family, I want to thank you so much for taking this time to hear what we had to say in regards to this. And hopefully you listen and you use wisdom. All right. And with that being said, Israel, I love you. I'm out.